I'm ready. Ready to go? Okay, good morning, everyone. Like to open the Tuesday, January 28th regular board meeting for TUD. And if you would, please stand and join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice. Hey, thank you all. All right. And on to you. Oh, I'm sorry. It's on to me. Yeah, I'll get this right. I've only been doing it a year or two. Okay, we would like to welcome the members of the public who have taken the time to attend this meeting and provide comments on matters related to district business. Any member of the public may address the board relating to any matter within the board's jurisdiction. This section is for comments on items not listed on the agenda. Persons speaking during the public comment will be limited to 5 minutes, or depending on the number of persons wishing to speak, it may be reduced to allow all members of the public the opportunity to address the board. While no action or discussion may be undertaken by the board on topics presented in this section, board members are listening carefully to those comments and appreciate your input. So, is there any public comment? I see none. So close public comment period. And now to you.
Okay, the consent calendar. Item 1, minutes of the regular board meeting of January 14, 2025. Item 2, investment report as of December 31, 2024.
Okay, thank you. Is there any board member that would like to pull anything? Yes. No?
Go ahead. I think you're going to do the same thing I was going to do. Go ahead.
No. Well, no. I'm last.
I was just going to see if Carolyn had any comments on our investment report.
Not tons of comments. We are hoping to have our investment advisor company, Chandler Asset Management, come do a presentation later on in the year when we have full board to give a real in-depth overview of the reports that they provide. The bottom line basically of this report in and of itself is that the amount invested in Chandler Asset Management, originally there was $5 million invested, and then there was an additional $5 million invested at a later time. It all started back in 2021. So a total of $10 million invested. Right at the time that it was invested, the markets went a little wonky. And so it kind of lost some value at some point in time. Bottom line now is it has regained its original value. So if we were to pull everything out today, what we would be able to pull out is $10,164,000. So that's kind of the bottom line of this report. I don't know if that helps at all, but that's essentially the bottom line of that, big long report that they give us. They are definitely the experts in investments, so that when they give a presentation, they can go into a lot more detail on anything that you would like them to, but that's kind of the bottom line of it. That help?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Director Kearns. Yeah, that was pretty much what I was going to say. After trying to read it twice, my eyes were like this. And I appreciate getting just a quick synopsis like that whenever we get one of these, because at least for this director, I'm not good with all that kind of stuff. So thank you very much. Any comments from our guests today? See none, I'll bring it back to the board for a motion.
I move we accept or pass and approve the consent calendar. My goodness. I'll second.
Okay, without any further comments or whatever, all those in favor?
Aye.
Yes? Anyone opposed? Okay, looks like it is passed. Regular business.
Regular business. Item number 3, update on district operations, December 2024.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Eric Hall, Operations Directors. So I'll just go over some of the things that's going on in the different departments that we've had going for the past month or few months. So treatment's pretty mellow and calm right now with the weather being good. Demands are normal, so not much to report for them. Distribution, they've been working on the White Fir tank and hydro station, mostly on the hydro station, getting some concrete poured there, and then finishing up the hydro building itself. And then the annual flushing of the distribution system started. In December, they started early, which was good just with what we're seeing with the weather. And then CIP, they've Mono Village tank and then the Cedar Ridge tanks. It's kind of ongoing, more in the engineer's hands right now. And contractors' hands, yeah. Yeah. Construction maintenance, they had 9 mainline breaks and 8 service lines that they fixed. And they've also been working on Zone 4 tank with the distribution guys and some of the cleanup around there. And then kind of wrapped up Mount Provo. We have a little bit more to do in the spring, but 98% of that line is in and done and heated up and ready to use. Daily courts ongoing. That should be done here shortly. And they had to replace the roof up on Ridgewood Hydro after the big windstorm. They took the whole roof off. So when it took 6 weeks to get the materials here to replace the roof, unfortunately, but it's all wrapped up just in time. And then they're doing some pickup work down at Regional, getting just a bunch of little things we need to clean up, get ready for winter, things like that down there. Collections, they've just been doing normal maintenance. They did a little demo for Twain Harte CSD on a lift station, see how we pull pumps to help them do their stuff up there. We've been working a lot with them with flushing, pulling pumps, how this works, how that works. So it's been good for everybody. So, and then we've been working on the Harrods Ferry Force Main ARV improvements. So you've heard that on the radio, which it should be wrapped up tomorrow, but that project's gone really, really well and something we needed to do for quite some time. That's all I have to report, unless you guys have a question.
Anyone have any questions? I do. Pictures of Daily Court.
Yep.
What street was that those were taken on? Is that Daily Court itself, or is that the street? I can't remember the name of it coming in.
I haven't been down there yet, so I can't answer your question.
There may be a picture of each of those streets, Daily Court. It's the street, the other street. I'm not the only one drawing a blank.
Not Pulpit Rock,
It's not Rawhide, it's
Pulpit Rock,
No, Pulpit Rock.
Pulpit Rock.
Pulpit Rock.
Pulpit Rock, right.
Being the timing of this, I would guess it's Pulpit Rock.
Okay, well, I would really like to have a discussion with you folks offline on that.
Okay.
Because I've got a few concerns on it that are brought up before, and I'm not sure that they were addressed. So
Okay.
that's number one. Number two, it would be my suggestion if you guys hadn't already thought of it, and I'm sure you did, but I'd just bring it up anyways in case. You said you had to wait for that roofing for that. If you thought that was bad, wait for the next month or two when stuff down south starts happening.
Mhm.
There's not going to be any materials anywhere. So if you
Right.
need anything, please order it now. And the prices undoubtedly are going to go through the roof.
Yeah. Kenny does a good job keeping up on inventory, but we're trying to get ahead where we can with
Right.
parts and pieces. Roofing material's tough, especially on a building that's existing to,
It's hard to figure it out in
Yeah.
advance, and
Yeah.
it's even worse to have to pay for it in advance, but I can't imagine what would happen if we're in a bind to do a project and we can't even get the material,
right.
so. Are you, well, first of all, I want to thank you for this report. This was very in-depth. I think you're trying to outdo the ones that used to come from, Operations Manager Perkins. You might have done it. I'm not sure. So with that, thanks for a good report.
You're welcome.
All right, without any further discussion,
You know, one of the things that I appreciated seeing most about this report was in the raw water division. I think it's important, right? It's just words, but when you think about it, the crews were able to stop a leak that had on the Shaw's Flat ditch there near the Sonora Water Treatment Plant that had been leaking approximately 175 gallons per minute every day for several years.
A lot of water.
A lot of water, and we were finally able to fix it. You know, we have a lot of challenges when it comes to maintaining our ditches that we have to comply with. And so Eric and his team, Kurt and the guys, stayed on top of it because it's a big leak and it was causing problems for, you know, the community downstream where the leak showed up. But anyway, they finally got it fixed this year. So I'm pretty happy about that. That water that is saved there, that's a significant amount of water, will be up at Lions Lake now instead of wherever. Thank you.
okay, I know that we don't need to really do anything on this, but you need just a motion to accept, or can we just let her go? Let it go?
Can just move on.
Okay. Next item then, I guess.
Item number 4, Coach's Corner, who is TUD?
All right, this is my item. Like I think we talked a little bit about the last time we met. Director Ringen and I met, you know, 3 different occasions last year prior to this year, and sort of envisioned how the year would go as him being the president and some of the things he'd like to see. And he asked, you know, so we one of the many things we discussed is having an opportunity for Don or the coach to disseminate or give you guys some information that's pretty high level and very important to the operations of TUD. It's a lot of this stuff and I have a number of topics. Today's is going to be, you know, who are we? But a lot of these things, all of these things that we bring to you are things that to you, your staff with its many, many years of experience really understand this really thoroughly, right? But we also are cognizant of the fact that it's very difficult for people who aren't here every day for many, many years to understand it. So what I'm going to give you today and hand out and read to you today isn't new. It's been chronicled in many other ways and forms over the years here at TUD by other managers and other staff. So this is just another rendition of it. But in this way, it's, you know, I'm giving it to you and the audience. I'm going to give you a handout that you can keep and refer to from here on out. And also a binder. So there'll be a binder called, oh, it has your name on it, Director Ringen, Coach's Corner.
Wow.
Thanks, Hallie.
Thanks, Melissa. That was all her.
Melissa. Take one of these two.
Thank you.
Who else?
Now I know who I am.
Director Jacobs. Corner. So every month, you can all have a handout. And it's in your binder. Burns.
Thank you.
Have it right. Dr. Hollis. So Director Ringen and I felt like a good place to start was, well, just who is TUD and what do we do? And it's a fascinating, for me, who, you know, I won't call myself a historian, but do enjoy local history. There's just something about it, especially here at TUD and the things that we're involved in. So anyway, again, this isn't something that I just wrote up all myself. This is bits and pieces that I've acquired from all over the place. Lots of help from my staff to make sure that what I have here is factual. I will state at the onset that some of this will include some statistics about the number of things that we have, right? Or that we manage those numbers will change. They just have since the day I got here, and they will have, long after I'm gone, the numbers of things will change over time. Okay. And at the very end, I'm going to go ahead and read this couple of pages. At the very end, if the powers that be will allow us to play a video, we will try to share a video with you too that I think is really neat. And then after the video, we have some time for Q&A. All right, so who is TUD? TUD is a California special district formed in 1992 by consolidating two existing water agencies, Tuolumne County Water Systems and Tuolumne Regional Water District. TUD has since acquired additional water and wastewater systems in varying conditions, previously owned and operated by predecessor agencies. TUD provides raw water, treated water, sewer, septage, and reclaimed water services to customers throughout Tuolumne County and the city of Sonora. The district has approximately 14,000 residential, commercial, and wholesale treated water accounts and an additional 600 untreated or raw water accounts. Approximately 2,000 additional accounts are served through wholesale service to various other water systems. Sewer services provided to 6,000 residential and commercial accounts. In addition, the district provides regional sewer service to subscriber agencies such as Jamestown Sanitary District for reclamation and the Twin Arc Community Services District for treatment and reclamation. The water system is diverse and varied, with approximately 95% of the water of the district's distributed from the South Fork of the Stanislaus River and is impounded in Pacific Gas and Electric's Lyons and Pinecrest Reservoir. PG&E's main Tuolumne Canal and flume system convey water from Lyons Reservoir to the Phoenix Powerhouse and TUD's raw water ditch system. The district owns and operates a total of 72 miles of ditch, flume, pipe, and tunnel infrastructure that diverts water from the PG&E system at various locations. The district is a water and wastewater utility serving approximately 44,000 residents in Tuolumne County. District services are generally described as follows. Water supply. TUD receives water supply from the Sierra Snowpack. This water is delivered to TUD starting at the South Fork of the Stanislaus River at Lyons Reservoir via the main Tuolumne Canal by agreement with PG&E. PG&E owns and operates Pinecrest Lake, Lyons Reservoir, and the main Tuolumne Canal. In the summertime, TUD normally receives stored water first from Lyons Reservoir, then second from water stored at Pinecrest Lake. Approximately 95% of TUD's customers receive water supplied from the main Tuolumne Canal via the TUD ditch conveyance system, and 5% of the supplied water is through wells. End of spill is a point in time that occurs after the snow has melted and flow in the river has subsided to where the flow out of Lyons Reservoir exceeds the flow into it. The end of spill occurs at the end of the spring snow melt runoff, which typically occurs between June and August each year. At this point in time, water stored in Lyons Reservoir is relied upon to supply Tuolumne County through the summer until Labor Day. However, Lyons Reservoir is relatively small and only holds enough water to support normal Tuolumne County water needs for up to 65 days. After Labor Day, water is normally drawn down from Pinecrest Lake to supplement Lyons Reservoir through the fall and early winter. The ditch system. The TUD ditch system is a unique water conveyance system. Each year, the district undertakes the continuous repair and maintenance of its 72 miles 1850s era ditch system to deliver water to domestic and agricultural users that rely on raw water delivery for limited non-potable purposes. Maintenance and upkeep are required in all weather conditions to keep the water flowing, including the very labor-intensive floating snow when necessary. The ditch system represents a significant investment in raw water transmission by the district for its customers. Staff monitor and regulate ditch water flows daily throughout the year and especially during the summer months to ensure reliability. Continual year-round maintenance and upkeep is critical to keep the ditch system operational. Staff also maintain the Phoenix Lake Dam, which is owned by the district and is annually inspected and regulated by the State Division of Safety of Dams. The district raw water conveyance system serves a variety of customer types and uses, including agricultural, irrigation water, ditch domestic use, commercial and industrial, resale and raw water sales supplied to Twainart Valley Mutual Water Company, Twainart Community Services District, Miwok Mutual Water Company, and others. The treated water system. The treated water system includes 8 permitted systems, including 3 standalone well systems, various water storage and conveyance facilities, wells, transmission pipelines, treatment pump facilities, pump stations, and treatment distribution pipelines. The district operates and maintains 5 raw water reservoirs, 10 water treatment plants, 56 treated water storage tanks, 40 hydropneumatic booster pump station, and approximately 330 miles of potable water distribution pipelines. In addition to its retail customers, the district provides wholesale treated water to the following entities: Moeller Mutual Company, Sonora Meadows Water Company, Sonora Water Company, and the Sleepy Hollow Water Company. It's interesting to note that the district's Columbia water system is also the water source for CAL FIRE's Columbia Air Attack Base. Only the wastewater. The wastewater system provides wastewater collection and treatment service as well as reclaimed water distribution for agricultural uses. The collection system collects up to 500 million gallons of wastewater per year and is composed of approximately 140 miles of pipeline ranging from 2 inches in diameter up to 18 inches in diameter, and 27 sewer pump stations. The district operates and maintains 1 primary level treatment facility and 1 regional tertiary level treatment facility. The Sonora Regional Wastewater Treatment Facility. The original Sonora Regional Wastewater Treatment Plant was constructed in the late 70s. TU completed the construction of its new $42 million Sonora Regional Wastewater Treatment Facility in May of 2024. This facility treats an average of 1.2 million gallons per day. Treated wastewater effluent travels to where it is stored in Quartz Reservoir, a 1,600 acre foot reservoir, and is distributed for agricultural uses on nearly 700 acres of land around the Jamestown area. So now if it's possible to play that video.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and start the video. Hopefully we won't get any.
Water. It's always there when you turn on the faucet. So take for granted. Wonder where our water comes from? For Tuolumne Utilities District customers, it all starts high in the Sierra, following its rain and snow in the Stanislaus River Basin at elevations exceeding 9,000 feet. During spring runoff, meltwater fills the South Stanislaus River. Our water then flows into Pinecrest Lake, a reservoir created by Strawberry Dam, a structure that was built more than 100 years ago by the Sierra and San Francisco Power Company, now PG&E, for the purpose of hydropower production. Today, Pinecrest Lake is a cherished recreational destination for locals and visitors. It's also a valuable economic factor for all of Tuolumne County. Water is then released back into the South Fork Stanislaus River, where it flows downstream until it encounters the smaller Lyons Reservoir, Lombard, and Sierra Village. Lyons Dam is a 132-foot high concrete dam that was last enlarged by PG&E in 1932. The water flows from Lyons Reservoir into the historic main Tuolumne Canal. The water traverses down a conveyance system to multiple ditches and water treatment plants. The remaining water flows to the Phoenix Powerhouse, which can generate 1.8 megawatts of clean, renewable energy. Did you know that the ditch system was originally constructed by gold miners in the 1850s? This unique conveyance system travels through a total of 14 historical ditches. The raw water ditch system delivers water to ranches, farmers, and irrigation customers, and is also diverted to 11 of TUD's water treatment plants, where water is purified for drinking. Once treated, we store it in one of our 66 treated water storage tanks. It stays there only briefly. till you or your neighbors turn on a sink for a drink of water, hose to water vegetables in the garden, take a shower. So that's the story of where your water comes from. To learn more about all the things Tuolumne Utilities District is doing to ensure you have water when you need it, visit us at tudwater.com.
Okay, thank you. Well, it played. And like I said in the beginning, you know, some of the statistics are different today. That's okay. That's okay. So anyhow, you know, there's a lot of facets to who TUD is, but in a nutshell, that's the basics of who we are and what we do. For me, some of the more interesting parts is you know, why TUD was formed in 1992 and who our predecessor agencies were. The oldest being TRWD, Tuolumne Regional Water District, who formerly was known as Tuolumne County Water District Number 2. They were formed in 1947. The event of a special election. And the whole reason behind, now this is 1947, so long before that, we lost or let the most senior water rights of the South Fork slip through our fingers. But in 1927, the state eventually passed an act called the Area of Origin Water Act, or Water Rights. And by 20 years later, the Tuolumne County finally decided to get in gear and get in line for some of those water rights. So they had to form a district, a bona fide district, to be able to acquire the area of origin water rights. And so off they went. Tuolumne County Water District Number 2 from 1947 on has been and it's still in pursuit of those area of origin water rights out of the Stanislaus River. The Tuolumne water system is really the Tuolumne County water system really began in 1983 with the purchase of what PG&E called the Tuolumne water system. The Tuolumne water system consisted that we purchased from, the county purchased from, consisted of 72 miles of ditches and flumes. And it included the Tuolumne water system, the Sonora water system, and the Jamestown water system. Now, those water systems were nearly 60 years old in 1983, so they weren't new. And of course, the ditches were, 18s, 50s ditches. And so the primary mission for both the county, for the county was water rights. So just get more control of our water source for our county forever, right? Because we just didn't and really still don't have a firm grasp of water rights. The purpose of the regional water, the Tuolumne Regional and TRWD, was to regionalize and consolidate and make water distribution more efficient. And that's been their mission. It is to our mission too. So today, TD is formed of those two entities, from those two entities, with those very missions in mind today. That's what I have for you. Take it away. You have any questions?
Yes, please.
I've got more of a statement than a question, Don, but that's a good video there. It needs a little updating because we don't have as many tanks and whatnot as they said, but that's okay. But it reminded me of something that I've brought up before and many other directors have before me, in that we hear out and about every so often, well, TUD, you don't pay anything for your water. You get free water from PG&E. And it's true in the fact that we don't write it, or the TUD doesn't write a check to PG&E for water. However, when you go back and you read that 1983 agreement when the county took over the ditch system, 72 miles of ditch that the county had to maintain, and now TUD maintains every year, every day of every year. And that's our cost of water. That's what the trade-off was. PG&E would give TUD, or at the time give the county free water, but they got rid of those 72 miles of ditch that now TUD has to take care of. So when you think of it in those terms, our water is pretty expensive. Even though we don't actually write a check, it is very expensive. So just wanted to say that again. Thank you.
That's a good point. I think the 83 contract is a topic of another coach's corner, to kind of talk about the 83 contract later.
Thank you, Director Kearns. Anyone else? If not, I do. Good report. And probably what I'm going to say right now will come up in the future, maybe, I don't know. But one thing that I wanted to bring up that kind of tags along with what you brought up is that when TUD is a special district and we are not allowed to make a profit, we weren't put in place to make a profit. This is we are required by law to remain financially viable because of the important job that we have to provide to our community, and it's health and safety as far as good clean water and safe sanitary. So why people continue to think that PUD's making all this money, they're sadly wrong. The agreement that Don just brought up, when the county bought from PG&E that 70+ miles of ditch and the water systems, they also bought for $1 million about $350 million or more of deferred maintenance in those water systems. So it was quite a deal. Oh, but for PG&E. So, and when the county figured they couldn't take care of it, voila, PUD was formed. So we got the job of trying to renovate all that, which quite honestly, we've done a surprising job. I mean, I really take my hat off to staff and so on throughout the years of how first they've been able to keep all of that failing infrastructure still running, and now we're gaining on getting to a point where a lot of it's been updated and getting healed, is I guess the best way to put it. The other thing that I wanted to bring up, and probably will come up in another later one too, but kind of fits into this, is in Don's report, which, thank you, Don. I think it was very good. You brought up a lot of good stuff in there. Notice that there was nowhere in there about fire protection or firefighting. Nowhere. PUD's not in the fire protection or firefighting business. But also, if you noticed in his presentation, we do have the extremely important job of making sure that the CAL FIRE air attack is constantly supplied with good, clean, potable water. It takes treated water in order to mix those chemicals for the fire retardant and so on. And that is a main hub for the firefighting that CAL FIRE does anywhere in the central part and many times up into the northern as well as southern part of California. That's really a big thing that we have to shoulder and make sure that we constantly take care of. So I'll leave it at that. Anyone else have anything? Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Don. And thank you, President Ringen, for bringing this, making this happen. So I appreciate you doing that. It's going to be a great benefit, I think, to each director as well as in our public outreach efforts. Something I especially liked was the visual.
Yeah, pictogram.
I think that carries a lot of, it helps people to get as it says, at a glance, what's going on. The 3 points that I often make when people say, what do you do? What's TUD? I let them know we serve 44,000 residents in the county that number one. Number two, the economic well-being of the entire county is reliant on our efforts. And that 95% of our water is served through a wooden flume in a very high fire danger area. And that's kind of my mission as a director, to do what I can and participate with the team to protect that asset and protect the county's well-being and 44,000 residents. So that's my take.
Thank you.
Anyone else? If not, I'll open it up to our folks.
Thank you. Elena Linehan, ratepayer. I've spoken to you many times before and happy to be here. My standard complaint always is about alphabet soup, how I can never stand just having initials and having to spend some time figuring out what things mean. This is an excellent report. I agree. I like the icons on the front, very well written, an excellent introduction. And I appreciate all the way through that even with PG&E, you explain what that means. I did notice, however, the one initials that you never define in the entire document is TUD.
You know, thank
I
you.
can see behind you.
Yeah, and I must say that I wanted to actually bring this up for those of you who are new to TUD, that, we're Tuolumne Utilities District. If you're really short on time, we prefer you said TUD versus TUD. So anyway, thank you for bringing that up. I don't know why. Every time I hear the word TUD, I get this weird feeling inside. So anyway,
Thank you.
thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, well, I guess we don't need to do anything on that either. Yes?
Yeah, President Ringen. So your point is well taken about the alphabet soup. I came on the board fairly recently. Until last November, I was the newbie. And I think it would be helpful. I think I've mentioned this kind of in passing a couple of times, but if we could consider putting together a kind of a gloss, I don't know if you call it a glossary or a decoder, but listing all the acronyms that we use and have a explanation of them, starting with TUD.
Okay, decoder coming right up.
I like that. Yeah, decoder.
Actually, I'd appreciate if we didn't discuss that, because remember, that's our way of getting people interested, so they start coming to the meetings and, want to learn what all those acronyms are. Okay, with that, any more comments, questions, anything? All right, then I think we can move on, because we don't need to do anything on that. Thank you, Mr. GM. Appreciate it.
Sure.
So we will move on to staff reports.
I only have one, and Eric Hall may say a few more things than I did, but Eric and I attended the Tuolumne County Water Fire Safety Advisory Committee meeting on Wednesday, January 22nd. I showed up a few minutes late. It's a monthly meeting. There wasn't a lot on the agenda, but in light, again, in light of what's going on down south, and some of the information that you're hearing on TV locally and nationally, I feel like it's really important. I've always sort of been saying, I feel it's important that TUD needs to be present in a lot of these committee meetings. Fire is just another one of them. Now, the conversation did come up in that committee meeting. I did feel a great sense of urgency to say something, but I chose wisely to not say anything, because I need to have all of my thoughts controlled. But it was a good meeting. It was an interesting meeting, and we'll be attending more of those. That's the end of my report.
Yeah, like Don said, we attended that meeting. A lot of stuff came out, but I think for us, the biggest thing is that, And just so you guys know too, if any emergencies happen and then county opens the EOC, it'll be down there in that building. Stryker Court's being used for sheriff's dispatch right now, for the time being. So, which we have to go, that's where we'll go. Hopefully we don't. I've been working with EN2 and CBI quite a bit past month, just on the raw water draft points and the fire protection plan, and trying to get stuff squared away by the end of today to get to them for the water committee meeting. And then I've had a meeting with CAL FIRE and Twainhart Fire just to kind of learn their perspectives on what's gone down in LA. And so we're working on a bunch of stuff with them internally and working on the communication and things like that. It's just the very beginning of things to come forward, I think, for this year. So, in the report.
I promised the board I'd give you a update on Sierra Pines at each board meeting, so that's what I'm going to do. I'll be brief. Sierra Pines continues to be a high priority for us in the engineering department. A couple of things we've been working on. The state reviewed our contract documents, and I'll just back up and say we have a request for qualifications and a request for proposal. It's been circulated to the design build community. March 14th, we're expecting to receive those proposals and qualifications back. Prior to that, we have 4 meetings scheduled with prospective design build teams next week. We've condensed them all. Operations, administration, and engineering will all be involved in those meetings. They'll be 2.5 hours each, with really the intent to answer their questions. It's not an interview, but as we know, first impressions do matter. We've also been working on getting what they call a waiver for the Buy American, Build American requirements for the project, which should reduce the cost of construction, so we aren't having to necessarily source everything in the United States, which I know that's a priority, but there are a lot of things that still on a job like this would come from overseas. Which leads me to another, concern. The administration, the president just issued an executive order that has some freezing and some pausing of federal funding for grants and those types of programs. It's a bit premature for me to tell you how that or if that even affects Sierra Pines, but I just want you folks to know we're keeping our eyes on it. In addition, this project's had loads of adversity starting years ago, so we're not going to let this one news event stop our forward progress on this. We're going to keep charging ahead. As soon as there's information to share, though, we will. And then, there's a few other items that staff is doing behind the scenes related to right-of-way acquisition, easements, and continue to look for a place to take the spoils from the reservoir that we're going to be constructing. And if, I brought that up last time, so we'll let you know once there's a home for those, because they do have a cost impact to the job. But happy to answer any questions. Otherwise, I'll just continue to bring you guys updates at each board meeting.
Just wondering if you are getting any cooperation from the county?
In regards to the spoils?
Roads.
On the road situation, we haven't engaged the county specifically on what they would require, if I'm reading you correctly, in terms of what sort of overlays or pavement reconstruction they would require as a result of our project. That would come through an encroachment permit process. But I will tell you that our design build team, whoever we select, one of the priorities will be to determine access routes that minimize coming potentially all the way up South Fork Road through the residential area. There are ways to access the site from down below off Middle Camp Road. In addition, There isn't a lot of county oversight in terms of, we're not putting any utilities in the road as part of the actual treatment plant. So there will be an encroachment for just access in and off of their roads, but we aren't going to be digging through their roads for any pipelines. That's a separate project.
Okay, good. Because I can see that that could be a thorn in our side if it's not watched real closely.
That is another one we need to keep our eyes on.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay.
I just wanted to tag on to a part of Eric's report where he mentioned the executive order and a temporary pause in federal funding. And just to give you an idea of what we currently have, because that could affect what may be obligated in the future, but it may also affect, which we don't know yet if it will, but it may affect several grants that we already currently are receiving, and that's FEMA, our raw water defense planning grant, and the regional wastewater facility grant that we're still receiving some money through that. So just to give you an update on those things. And once we know more information, I literally got an email as we were sitting here, kind of giving a little bit of synopsis of this, but it looks like as of January 28th, there's going to be a temporary pause, at which time the different agencies have, by February 10th, have to submit something to the Office of Management and Budget, otherwise known as OMB, giving detailed information about all of their programs, and then decisions are going to be made after that point. So just to give you a brief update on that.
Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to tag on to Eric's operations report to note, we always say who's achieved different certifications and advancement within TUD. And yesterday I got notified that Lucas Rafferty in our wastewater department received his collections grade 2 certification. So congratulations to Lucas. You'll probably see that in the next ops report. But then I also thought I would just highlight an email you most recently received with the public outreach that we did on the Mount Provo project. So we sent that out last week. So it's in all the local press that we've had. It's been in there a couple of times throughout the project, but and we also always post to our social media page. We also had that in Aqua News, so statewide we get our projects in the Aqua News, and they do a really great job promoting all of our projects. The most recent one before that one was the Nine Sisters tank that we partnered with the tribe on. So look for that. If anyone listening, if you haven't already, follow us on Facebook, because we have a lot of great project updates when we get grants, road conditions, any traffic advisories, of course, on that side, any updates on what's happening here at the district and job postings, all of those things. So if you have any questions about any of those things, just let me know. Thank you.
I just want to thank you, and especially Emily, for just a really great job that's been happening as far as trying to keep our constituents up to date on what's going on. There's been lots of news releases and things like that, and it's really important. I compare it to what happened in past years. It's like night and day, and I think it's really great, because I think people need to know where their hard-earned money is going, and it's not going into anybody's pocket. It's going into the ground, into jobs being done and facilities being upgraded and all that. So thanks for keeping the ratepayers informed. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, the credit goes to Emily, so she does a fantastic job. Thank you.
Okay, guess it's back to us, and Peg, you're it.
Well, first of all, I wanted to congratulate President Ringen on being appointed to the Mountain County Water Resources Association as one of the directors. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome. And also I wanted to acknowledge, commend, congratulate Finance Director Higgins for being with us for a year. It's been awesome. We're so blessed to have you. We appreciate you. Also, to tag on to what we talked about last meeting about committee appointments, there are a couple that I'd like to also emphasize I'd like to participate in. One is the CSDA efforts. I think that's a real vital thing, and my past background with some of the LAFCO and CSDA functions, I would love to represent TUD in that as much as possible with that as well. So,
Okay, well, we'll see what committees and assignments are coming up. That's never been one in the past.
yeah. And then also a strong interest in mountain counties, and then most recently as I mentioned this last time, Aqua's Federal Relations Committee. I think that would be important for us. Maybe there's nothing right now in front of us that warrants a lot of attention, but planting the seeds for future growth and future relationships that we can build on that will benefit us down the road. And then finally, it was brought to my attention that Soulsbyville School is having a career day. And I thought it'd be, so that it's Thursday, February 27th. They're looking for volunteers to do short presentations about a job or career field. So I think that would be something we would like to participate in. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. Abby, did you?
Thank you. I was just going to ask a question. I've actually participated that in the past as a parent of a student at Soulsbyville. Is that for parents, or is that for anyone as far as participating in the career fair? Do you know?
I'll forward you the information I received. I believe it's open.
Okay,
I believe
I'll inquire. Know a few teachers there still. So, okay, thank you. That's a good heads up.
You're welcome.
Thanks for responding. Okay.
This month, I went to the Jamestown Proposed Rate Hike Town Hall meeting. And Judy Selby ran the meeting, and I thought did a really good job, very professional. And Duke York presented the idea that they need a rate hike there, or they're going to go bankrupt in 3 years if they do nothing. But unfortunately, the vote didn't go that way. And so they chose to do nothing. And then 3 directors quit at that point. But we still have Judy Selby and Duke York there. And I think we have experience and the common sense to pick up and go on. And we wish them best luck, and we want to help them any way we can to get that thing done. I think we got the right people still there. So that was an eye opener. And that's all I got.
Okay.
I didn't attend any meetings, but just wanted to thank Don for that Coach's Corner. You did a good job on that. And I know you had a lot of help too, so thank you guys. And you mentioned the 1983 contract as a possible future subject. That's a good one. That's, at least for myself, that's a very interesting document. And I enjoy talking about it, so yeah. Thank you, Don.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay.
Easy.
Okay, on 11/15, attended and participated in the T-Stan Irwin joint WAC and JPA meetings. We had the selection and election of the JPA officers. Had a presentation by Stantec consultants on drought resilience, planning, discussion on beaver meadows subcommittee. Believe it or not, we're reintroducing beavers to our rivers on a very cautious basis. Also, we had a discussion open call for projects and also discussion on grading points for the criteria for those. So more coming up, which you'll probably get information on, but if you don't, I'll make sure you do, because we want to make sure PUD keeps going on all those things that we need to get done. On 116, attended the, this was really interesting. I attended the TUD staff meeting as a stone. Sat way back there in the corner, didn't open up my mouth one little bit, and just listened. And this is the first one of those I've been to in years. I think the last one was probably in 2012. And I really got to take my hat off to our GM for pushing this along and staff getting involved in it. This was every staff leader and supervisor of TUD, and they all made quick, precise presentations as to what they were doing and so on. And why I felt this was so important was everybody knows what the other folks in the organization are doing, so that there's no stepping on somebody or oops, didn't know about that and now we have to redo it or something like that. That's really good planning, I think. I just really take my hat off to you folks for doing that. And it didn't take much time. I think there was probably at least 25 different people here with all the different levels, not levels, but different aspects of the operations, and how it all fit together really made sense, and it's really a great way to do it. Good decisions are not going to be made if you don't have all the information. And I was reading just recently that it was 39 years ago, the spacecraft, the rocket Challenger, met its demise. And it took them a couple of years to figure out why that happened. I remember it really clear as bell because I was really interested in what was going on at the time. But bringing it back to what TUD is doing, the reason why that flight failed was 2 rubber O-rings, 2 lousy little rubber O-rings. And they were told, the people on staff at NASA told the higher ups, don't launch that thing today. It's too damn cold. It was freezing cold. And the cold affected those 2 rubber O-rings. And on its flight up and out, they burnt through and blew up the spacecraft. So that may be a pretty outrageous way to explain it, but that's what can happen right here at TUD. If we don't know what's going on in all the various departments and everything and how it all fits together, Don and the higher staff members can't make the right decisions, and we're going to have a possible problem. So I take my hat off to you folks for doing that. I think it's great. Communication. So led right into where, let's see. On that same date, attended and presented at the TUD ad hoc committee meeting my expanded suggestions and ideas for the biosolids biochar program that could incorporate additional revenue streams and programs to help in mitigating the any upcoming rate increases and that sort of thing. So we'll see where that goes. It's in staff's hands now, and we'll see what they come up with from that. On the 17th, I met with Tuolumne Band Tribal Chair Kevin Day, and also met with Assemblyman, our new Assemblyman, Dave Tangapa. And pencil in on your calendars, June 12th. It's a Thursday, and I'm in the process of putting together, and pretty soon I'm gonna hopefully be able to hand it off to people that are much better at this sort of thing than I, such as Emily. Emily, please don't run out of here. Anyway, we're gonna be putting on with Mountain Counties Water Resource Association, TUD, a meeting that's gonna be educational, and I've named it Communication Equals Cooperation. And so more on that later as it comes together. It's just in the infancy right now, but I also have contacted Representative Tom McClintock and Senator Alvarado Gill. Oh, by the way, I did all that right here in Sonora. I didn't have to go to Washington. So, and I'm gonna have some other legislators there, I hope. So, any rate, more on that later. And on yesterday, attended a Mountain Counties Water Resource Association board meeting, and also met with CAL FIRE Chief Whitson. And I know you know a whole bunch about him, but he's going to be involved. He's real excited about that thing on the 12th, so they're going to be there also. And finally, I was really amiss. I didn't bring this up the last time. There was a letter that appeared in our email box to all of us and General Manager Don Perkins. It was from a ratepayer, and I'm not naming names or anything else, but I just want to talk about the situation. He had questions and looked like he had some issues. Now I don't know whether any of you responded to that, if you saw it or anything like that. When we get a letter like that, it needs to go, do not answer it. And I'm not saying that from a bad point of view. I'm talking about from a good point of view. You immediately contact our general manager and see what the issue is, because undoubtedly he's already heard of it. For God's sakes, do not, even whether it's something like that or anything else, do not ever hit reply all. That is a Brown Act violation. That's having a meeting online. So do not hit reply all. But also, please don't reply to a letter like that until you spoke with our GM Perkins. So that's it for me. Do we have any comments or anything from our guests? Oh, yeah.
Do we have a location for that Mountain Counties meeting yet, or?
Yeah,
Or is that
like I said, this is in the infancy, but I've already got some pricing and everything going on. I've got quite a bit of work and time in this. No, I'm gonna tell you.
Oh.
It's really kind of cool what I'm trying to do, I think. As you know, Mountain Counties is spread out. We're about the southern end of it, but it goes all the way up north. So those folks, to a meeting like this, which only occur about 4 times a year, they have to drive. It's the same thing when they put on one, then we have to drive all the way up there. And I mean, you know, it's not a one-day deal. You got to stay overnight. It turns into a big deal. So I started thinking about this. So I picked the June meeting time because weather should be, I mean, the one that we put on last time, Barbara Balin, you were involved, and Dawn. That was a great meeting down in Columbia. Great, except it snowed.
Snowed in Columbia.
In Columbia. So, and here's all these people that came from way up north and it's snowing, you know, what are they gonna do? So, anyway, so that's why I picked June 12th. Should be good weather, hopefully. Who knows anymore? Things will change so quickly. But, I also picked, I wanted to work with the tribe. We're constantly doing things back and forth. And so, it is going to be held at, Black Oak Resort. And, the idea is that we'll have the meeting on Thursday, midday into, hopefully not too much into the evening, just before evening. And, the reason why I picked out there besides the tribe is that they can stay there at the resort, in the hotel, and there's the RV setup out there. So maybe the folks have an RV or a travel vehicle, they come down, stay there, and walk. And the next morning, the board meeting is going to be held in their boardroom. So once again, nobody has to drive anywhere. And the real high point is that once they get out of that board meeting, then if they brought down their significant other or a family or something like that, they can take off and enjoy everything that Tuolumne County has to offer and, you know, make it a leisurely good thing as well as an enticement to come. So, anyway, more on that coming.
Good job.
Anyone else have anything to say?
Ron, let me give just a little bit more information on the meeting you attended as a Stone. Originally, that meeting started long before this group of people were here, managers and staff were here. It was originally called the operations meeting, ops meeting, right? Eric has sort of reimagined it as being a staff coordination meeting. That meeting is run by Eric, right? And so one of the challenges we have here, again, some of us staff people and a few others get out in the field all the time and see all the things that's going on here at TUD, but not all the staff, especially inside this building, gets that opportunity. So from safety to communication to finance to PR, all of those sorts of things are really kind of in the need to know. Engineering, all really kind of in the need to know basis on what all of the things were going on, so that those people in their departments can think, okay, here's what they're doing out there, and here from a safety standpoint, what I should be thinking about, from a public outreach standpoint, all sorts of reasons, risk management. So it is really well intended, attended, and what I like most about it is it really is, it encourages all of us who have let's say I'm the department head of something. And I spend my 8 hours thinking about the TUD and the viewpoint of my department. But when we all sit around, we talk about all of our things, it really opens up the communications. We all have an understanding of what's going on as a whole, so that come a day when your priority isn't quite as high as the need of another situation, now you understand it, right? You understand why this need is a little more important than that need if we have to make choices. So I appreciate that meeting. Eric does a great job building it, and we have a lot of, you heard how, and believe me, just because you were there, that meeting didn't take on a different form. It was really a genuine meeting that happens on a regular basis. So thank you.
Okay, anyone else? All right. If not, then we will close